This week in Jamaica Now.
The only thing I heard, a lot of gunshots lately. Wally.
6 shot, 3 fatally in what the police said was a case of mistaken identity in a gang conflict. Police having tough time solving the murder of an autistic Mobe child. Then, big weapons haul. 20 guns and 40 magazines seized at the Mobe airport. Rear Admiral Antonette Wemyss Gorman takes command as the first woman army chief in Jamaica. Accompong Chief Richard Currie left out as Prime Minister Andrew Holness meets with Maroon colonels.
We're not here trying to overthrow anybody. The Prime Minister has his job and I have mine.
Chicken prices to soar by 10% come month end. And Mayor again, Mottley leads another clean sweep in Barbados election. I'm Damian Mitchell and this is Jamaica Now. Police investigators probing a triple murder in Bounty Hall, Trelawny, have concluded that it was the result of mistaken identity in an ongoing gang conflict in the parish. 2 women and a man were shot dead around 1:45 Friday morning and 3 others injured. The deceased have been identified as Tashay Black, otherwise called Tash, a bartender of Red Hills in Wakefield, Trelawny. 24-year-old Daniel Williams, otherwise called Alkaline, of Crossroads in Bounty Hall, and Shanelia Clark, otherwise called Suki, of Bounty Hall, also in Trelawny. It is reported that Williams, Black, Clark, and 3 other occupants pulled up at a house when 4 men armed with high-powered weapons opened fire on the Toyota Voxy in which they were traveling. Williams and Black died on the spot. Clark died at hospital. The other 3 victims were admitted to the hospital in serious condition. Commanding officer for the Trelawny Police Division, Carlos Russell, said the police are following strong leads into the incident.
Based on our information, these persons that are involved in this conflict are not native of the parish of Trelawny, but they have been displaced here and have been here for some time. These are persons that we have been monitoring over the period, and we are aware of the situation, and we believe that we can bring a closure to it very soon.
And the mother of one of the victims said it was a night of terror as the shots rang out.
The only thing I heard, a lot of gunshots lately. Wally. One time I come, then the yellow tape already drawn, and people was there, and they said 2 persons lie down there dead, and they said for my daughter go to the hospital and I head off to the hospital. When I go down to the hospital, I actually go see the last Sasha.
Meanwhile, Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitz Bailey, says police investigators are having a tough time seeking to solve last week's murder of a 9-year-old autistic boy in St. James. Senior detectives from the police crime headquarters have been assisting the local police in the probe.
It is proven to be very difficult in terms of some of the things that you expect would have been just, normal. The police have to be doing some extraordinary situation to get the support that they need. But the investigation is ongoing and we are going to ensure that we get to the bottom of it.
Gabriel King was abducted from his mother along the Tucker Main Road in St. James on January 13. They were traveling in the woman's Audi motor car when they were pounced upon by men as they slowed down to navigate a rough section of the roadway. The men reportedly punched the woman in the face, pulled her from the vehicle, and drove away with the little boy. Shortly after, the vehicle was found abandoned off the Fairfield Main Road in Montego Bay. The boy was in the back of the car with his throat slashed. A major probe is now underway into the seizure of 20 handguns and 40 magazines at the cargo section at the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. Head of the Area 1 Police, Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, said a joint investigation is underway by the Jamaica Customs Agency, the St. James Police Division, and the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch.
Whilst this put a dent in the gun smuggling operation, we want to advise that irrespective of how organized these criminals are and the different levels of their involvement, all efforts will be made to apprehend and lay charges on them.
Rear Admiral Antonette Wemyss Gorman has now taken command of the Jamaica Defense Force. Wemyss Gorman, who is 49 years old, was sworn in as Jamaica's first woman Chief of Defense Staff by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen at King's House on Thursday. She has promised to use her experience to lead the JDF in a strategic way.
Throughout my tenure, I will not compromise on the integrity of the force, nor flout the long-standing, hard-won trust of the Jamaican people. Each service member will be held accountable for his or her actions, and they can be assured of my commitment to the good administration and welfare of the force.
And a day later, the new commander was the highlight of the parade for the changing of the guard at Upper Camp, where Admiral Antonette Gorman succeeds Lieutenant General Rocky Meade, who has retired after 38 years in the Army. Accompong Maroon Chief Richard Currie was on Friday left out of a meeting among Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Maroon colonels. The meeting comprised Colonels Lloyd Latibudier of the Scots Hall Maroons, Wallace Sterling of the Moortown Maroons, and Marcia Douglas of the Charlestown Maroons. The Office of the Prime Minister released a statement saying Culture Minister Olivia Grange and Minister without Portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister Robert Nesta Morgan also attended the meeting. The statement did not say why Currie was not invited. Currie, who was elected the head of the St. Elizabeth-based Accompong Maroons in March last year, has been sparring with the government over the 1738 treaty with the Maroons signed with the British government. On January 9, Prime Minister Andrew Holness dismissed rhetoric of the Accompong Maroons that they are a sovereign people. While the meeting was underway Friday, Currie went live on Instagram appealing for dialogue.
We all want this to be a peaceful and diplomatic resolution. I will not continue and join the nonsense that's being spurred in the media. We're not trying to create a divide. We're not creating a threat to the state. We're not here trying to overthrow anybody. The Prime Minister has his job and I have mine.
Currie also said he was disappointed that the other Maroon chiefs went ahead to meet with the Prime Minister, although they had all agreed that they would not. The Jamaica Broilers Group has announced that chicken prices are going up by 10% come the end of January. President and CEO Christopher Levy says the company delayed the price increase from December in an effort to give Jamaicans an ease. In its second quarter results in October 2021, Jamaica Broilers reported that its gross margin had fallen from 24% to 20% as a result of increased input costs, which were partially mitigated by the growth in the company's United States operations. Levy said the cost of shipping and grains have increased. The former Haitian opposition senator linked to the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse has been remanded on immigration charges. John Joel Joseph was apprehended in St. Elizabeth along with his wife Edumi, their 18-year-old son, and their 9-year-old son on January 14. They have all been remanded until February 15 after their lawyer Donahue Martin informed senior parish judge Lorianne Cole Montague that he needed more time to have further discussions. According to a senior police officer, Joseph was listed among 5 fugitives for whom Haiti's Justice Minister, Rockefeller Vincent, said the country would offer 6 million gourdes for their arrests. The other key suspect, ex-Colombian military officer Mario Antonio Palacios, was deported from Jamaica on January 3 in keeping with an order by the Supreme Court here after his immigration breach conviction. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page. Subscribe today and turn on your notifications. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, Prime Minister Mia Mottley's Barbados Labour Party this week recorded a second consecutive clean sweep of all 30 seats in a general election. Journalists Earl Moxham, Kmar Jordan and Colville Mounsey weigh in on the development.
I believe the voter turnout was something in the order of 40%.
40%.
So that, as with the last election in Jamaica, where the outturn was something in the region of 39%. This does not reflect necessarily an overwhelming mandate in terms of the overall view of the populace of the country. It means that one party has been better able to get out its votes and to secure the seats in Parliament, but it does not necessarily mean that it speaks for all Barbados in this instance.
One has to take into account when considering the future of Ms. DePisa, the fact that this is her third, I think, outing in elective politics and a third straight loss. And that does not augur well for someone who is aspiring to lead one of the cornerstones of Barbados's political system.
I would say from the economic standpoint, we've seen heavy borrowing by this administration. Barbados boasts now of some $2 billion in international reserves, but this is borrowing. Somebody has to pay going down the road. And what we need from the Mottley administration are really strong, clear reforms in terms of making this a real economy with real performance and not beefing it up with these artificial indicators. So that's one for me. I would say also too, in terms of COVID, we saw all sorts of things during the election campaign. Now we are back to some level of sanity. How are we going to bring those numbers back down that we've seen rising in recent weeks? And the other thing also is the cabinet, this bloated cabinet, 26 members for 166 square mile country.